My whole motive is pleasing God, and in the process you will be offended in what I have to say. Oftentimes, as open-air preachers, I'm always told, what's your motive for preaching to all these people, Ruben? What's your motive? By your own message, it doesn't sound like there's much love. The Bible teaches because of the terror of God, we persuade men. That's what the Apostle Paul said. Just simply because mankind is soon going to be facing hellfire, that should be enough motive to go out and preach. Now, what really bothers me is when young preachers feel obligated as if they have to tell everyone how much they love sinners. They'll say something like this: I came and drove 3 hours. That's how much I love you. You people don't understand how much I love you. We don't find anyone in the Bible saying, I love you, I care about you, please understand how far I had to travel. Forget about us. If you're going to talk about the love, talk about God's love, not our love. It has nothing to do with us. I mean, do you really think a sinner is now going to understand God's love because you say you loved Him? My love for God is obedience, which is why I do what I do. So regardless of what people think about you, we're not there to make sure they understand we love them. If there's one thing they hopefully understand, it's God's love and how much mankind needs to love God by obeying God and not making me the issue of how much I gave up just because I love them. So many preachers, they just love to talk about, I'm here because I love you. I'm not like him. I'm not like this guy. Who cares who you're not like? Love is an act, and we need to understand this. And hopefully you can take heed to that. Another point I'm often asked is, Brother Ruben, aren't you ever discouraged? There's not a lot of you guys when you go out and you preach in public. I mean, look at all the world and how many bodies there are, and how many of you actually go out and preach. No, I'm not discouraged at all. As a matter of fact, I can do much more with just a handful of men than I can with a whole army. Most people can't preach like I do. Why? Because they live in sin. Why? Because the log is still in their eye, which is why they can't preach against sin. I've had a person tell me, well, brother, I'm a Christian and I can sin a little bit. I can sin a little bit, Brother Ruben. Let's be fair. Fine, if you wish to sin a little bit, have it your way. But don't be surprised if on Judgment Day, God decides just to save a little bit of you. How about if God just save an eyelash and throw the rest of you into hell? Was that fair? You can't say, I'm just going to sin just a little bit. The reason why nobody wants to join us is because they're not living for God. So I don't want people to come out and join us being a bunch of hypocrites. You want virtue and power in your words, you got to live for God. So I'm not dissatisfied if only 5 people show up when we go out and preach, because I'd rather have 3 people who are serving God and living for God actually do more for the kingdom of God, because with virtue and power they can preach what God wants done. So I'm not impressed with a large group. I don't need a Joel Osteen church. I would rather have a few men who are willing to give up their life, who are willing to walk holy before God and echo what God wants done to mankind. You give me those men, we'll shake up a city any day of the week and twice on Sunday.